Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Chasing the Limelight with me, your host, Sanj Saigal. Actress Ashley Seal joins us to talk about the series and shed some light on the acting industry. Hello, Ashley, and it's great to have you back on the show.
Thank you so much for having me again. I love being here.
Our pleasure. Well, last we spoke to you, you had finished or wrapped up the filming on set. So what happens in that situation? Because I know you said that you're a family, do you just say bye? What happens? Or what did happen?
Well, we just kind of disperse. It's weird because you do life with the cast and the crew and you become a family. When we wrapped, we spent all night after that just talking, eating, drinking, and just like laughing. Being silly.
Do you keep in contact with people, or is it really just sort of a cut and that's your work family and they just sort of dissipate, or do you keep in contact?
I think you do. I do keep in contact with the ones that I get really close to when I'm on set, but it does change. It is different because you went from living in kind of a different reality to real life. And getting back to just a totally different experience, different life, different people, different community. So you really do have to do your best to stay in touch. But it's when you see them at premieres or at events or when things happen with the show or with the film, you just pick up where you leave off.
Yeah,
so
because I know you had so much. You had so much synergy with the makeup artist, with Rusty, with everyone. Yeah. And for the audience who are just tuning in now, it's a series that follows Ashley to set, and there's a sort of a fly in the wall documentary series about the process of filming. So what happened after Was it just a cold goodbye, or did you? I know you disbanded the next day. Did you talk when the film was released? What was the name of the film? When was it released? Or is it going to be released later on in the year?
It hasn't been released yet. It's called Blue Moon Rising, and we do have different text message threads that we get updates, which is super fun. Okay. And we get to celebrate together through those. But lots of times I'll just, if they come to mind, I always think that when people come to mind, there's a reason for it. Right. So I'll text them or be like, hey, how are you doing? Like, how is life? So you get to actually spend time getting to know someone outside of filming because you're so focused when you're on set and you're focused in. So you're laughing about things that are happening on set or you're laughing through scenes. Yeah. And now afterwards, you get the opportunity to laugh and be sad or cry or be stressed with them through life.
During the filming process, I know that you obviously had to memorize your lines. I was wondering for newbies, for new actors, what sort of techniques do you use to memorize your lines effectively? I mean, is it loads of Post-it notes on the wall, or is it talking to the mirror? What do you do?
Oh gosh. Well, through the years and through different scripts, it's taken on different techniques for sure. Yeah. I did a show called Kailea, a movie, a short film. And that was probably the most demanding I've ever had memorizing lines. I had paragraphs and pages of technical terms that I had never said before in my life, playing an AI character. And it was very challenging. And my friend who had nothing to do with the short film would literally spend hours with me just reading through the pages. And it takes a village, but he would read through them. And if I didn't get it right, we'd go back and we didn't pass those pages until I felt like I had a good grasp on them. Yeah. So it took about a month and a half to memorize that script.
And did you have a specific routine or environment that helps you to, retain your lines better? I mean, did you do it? Yes. You said you did it with your friend, but is there a particular environment that you favor?
Actually, for me personally, it helps to switch it up. So if I'm memorizing and I'm in a living room, I need to go walk. I need to go do something else because scenes are all different. You can't really know what's going to be on set perfectly. So I need my brain to to retain those lines and retain that image no matter where I am. So I start off just sitting and memorizing, and then I take to walking, or I change up my environment completely.
Right. What happens when you don't get enough sleep, or you don't, in series, in part 4, I think it was, like, I can't remember which edition it was now, which episode, you were eating at the wrong times, you were sleeping at the wrong times. Does that affect your sort of, the curve of learning lines for a new role, or you just adapt?
It used to. I feel like I've grown as an actress, which has been really, really, I'm really grateful for that. But it's also because of people that have coached me and trained me. So when I was doing it by myself, or I was trying to do things without the coaching and without the training, I was not as adaptable. I don't think I was able to retain what I really wanted to, because of nerves, or because of just the excitement, of being on set. But then I started training under Diana Castle, the Imagine Life. And when I started training under her, she really took the lines away.
Right.
And when you create a world, and this is through what I've learned from her, when you create a world to play in, then all of a sudden it doesn't go away. The lines just come to you without having to really think about it, which creates more of a realistic experience.
Because I know that you had to change your appearance for Kalia. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did. Good job.
Oh, it's the first time. But yeah, I know you had to change your appearance quite dramatically, actually. You were one tough person on that movie. Did it help to be in character? I mean, is that part of, would you advise that for newbies, get dressed up in similar, in the environment, and your lines will come easily, or you think it has nothing to do with it really, the appearance, or, to try and get dressed into character?
When it comes to the dress and everything, no, I personally try not to rely on that. Right. Because I never know, what I'm going to be wearing or things like that. When it comes to physicality, I think it's really important to, I believe physical and emotional health run together, and being prepared run together. And so what I really focus on is, do I have all my coping skills if I get anxious? Am I eating what I need to? And are those things that I'm eating, can I take some of that with me to set? Can I be as consistent as possible, even if the hours are crazy or whatnot, that I have the coping, I have the things that I personally need to stay healthy. And for physicality, that's been challenging just personally because I have Lyme disease.
Yeah.
So I have learned that when I feel good, I capitalize on, okay, today I feel like I have energy, I can be active. And there are definitely more days than not now.
Sure.
But on the days that I am not able to do that, it's easier to give myself grace to rest, because all of it goes together.
And that's a great admission there, because not everybody is super healthy and super, we all have setbacks in some way or the other. And we're going to be talking about that in the next series, about Lyme disease and about overcoming those difficulties. And I'm sure there are many actors and actresses that have, their own share of problems that they have to overcome. Can I just ask you on a personal note, is there a particular strategy you have to sort of get up in the morning and feel the person you are, and, so that you're emotionally prepared and physically prepared? Do you have a regime that, like in the morning you do an hour's training before you go for your lines, or is there a regime you have? Would you advise newbies to take up some sort of a routine?
Ooh, that's hard, because I travel a lot. So when I'm in certain cities, it's a little different than when I'm in other ones, just because of the pace.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say, honestly, like for me, I have to manage anxiety. And so part of managing anxiety is really that I have to spend time meditating. Or for me, it's maybe just starting out grateful. That's a big thing. It's just, I wake up and I at least say 5 things I'm grateful for to start my day, because it keeps my perspective.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing, because that's synergy, isn't it, between mental and physical, and there is a relationship between those two, and we often overlook that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Oh, yes. Go ahead. Go
And
ahead.
I think with physicality, like when you're struggling through something like with Lyme disease, like
Hmm.
sometimes I can't trust my body. I don't know
Right.
when I'm going to flare up. I don't
Yeah.
know what it's going to do that day or where I might be,
Yeah.
where I feel panicky or whatever it's going to create. And
Yeah.
so to mentally just as best I can give myself grace and
Right.
know that what's meant for me is still going to be meant for me, even
Yeah.
if I'm struggling. I think that's really important to remember.
Yeah, that's wise words. I mean, and it's like I said, there will be people who listen to the podcast and can identify with difficulties, challenges, if you like, to overcome in order to do whatever they're doing, whether it's acting or anything else. But those are wise words. Okay, what methods do you use to connect emotionally with characters' personality? Because obviously, I know that, you know, in Kalia, you played a tough nut. And
Yeah.
how did you get into that? I mean, how did you prepare yourself for that particular role? Can you remember something you did or something quirky that helped you to set that personality in place?
Ooh, that's hard. I honestly, with Kylea, I learned so much. I'm so grateful that I was really concerned actually because I play an AI character for
Yeah.
most of that film. And so that can be interpreted as bad acting because you're a deadpan,
I
and
thought it was
so,
brilliant.
oh, thank you. So that can be pretty challenging to, and also like mess with you. Like, oh gosh, I'm gonna get canceled. It's gonna
Yeah.
happen. It's gonna be
Yeah.
like this is the quickest,
Yeah.
of my dream I possibly could have imagined. But that's not what happened. So I'm so grateful for that. But I think I've learned a lot since then.
Yeah.
And
And also you won the awards, didn't you?
mhm,
I mean, I remember
yeah,
you text me and said, "Oh, we won," and it was so
yeah,
humble. It was a humble moment.
it was
So
amazing.
I guess in a way, like you said, it wasn't that way. Actually, you were accredited for that role, which was amazing. Okay, well, let's talk about living away from home. You had a long drive to set. And I'm just wondering what it's like to be away from home. Is it difficult to cope with? Is it something you're used to? What advice would you give? I mean, staying in touch or just saying, look, I'll contact you after I finish filming?
Well, I definitely think technology is super helpful now that we can stay so in touch with each other through social media
Yeah.
or anything. But yes, when I'm on set, the hours are crazy, and you really don't know when you're going to have a moment to step away.
Yeah.
But also when you're on set, you're building relationships, you're making the scenes better, outside of filming. And so I think it's good to have a community and warn your community before
Yeah.
you go that, hey, like you might not hear from me as much, or you might hear from me in weird hours. I'm
Right.
so sorry.
Yeah.
but
Well, I
but
guess
it
I
helps
guess
a
your
lot.
phone is off and you switch everything
Yes.
off. You're cut off, right?
Yes, I don't have my phone most of the time.
Yeah. And
hmm
you mentioned, I think, in one of the episodes, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Those were your words,
Yeah.
and I'm wondering, did you have any reception? Were you able to depend on technology because you were in the middle of nowhere?
We did have reception, but when you're filming, lots of times you're very present, and you also want to be respectful of, even if you're not filming, the people that are filming around you.
Right.
So lots of times we didn't have our phones. We did have our phones when we were in hair and makeup, which was super fun. We have a lot of memories from that. One time they had to turn off all the lights for a scene, and the makeup artist was in the middle of doing this really elaborate makeup to one of the cast members, and so we
Oh my
took all of
God.
our phones and the lights from our phones, and we were holding it up so she could continue. We had dance parties there. It was
Oh
super
my God.
fun.
It sounds
But
like a lot of
yeah.
fun, a lot of fun.
hmm
Okay, well, what about, location? When you meet with friends, have you ever been in a situation where you've met a co-actor, for example, that you've met before? I think Rusty's a good example, isn't it? Where you have been in other movies, Kalia, etc. You did another film with him. And there's obviously synergy between you two. When I listened back to the podcast, amazing synergy you had. Did that help you with the acting? To have such a great connection with your co-star.
Oh, definitely. So Rusty is such a good friend, but he's also a really good guy. outside of acting. I mean, he's such a great family man. He loves his family, he loves the Lord. He's so devoted to his wife. Like, he's such a great example of just a good human being.
Yeah.
So we just connected right away, and as friends. And it's been, when we did Kailea, you know, you're getting to know each other. You just met and you're working together. And then to be able to be given the opportunity to do another film,
amazing.
It was just so easy. It was so easy.
Was it a coincidence that you were both on the same film again, or was it the agent who chose? I mean, how did you both end up on the same film on another project together?
It was actually the director.
Right.
So the director brought us both on because he liked what we brought to Kailea, and he was also friends with us, and he is friends with us. And so he asked us if we'd be willing, and of course we said yes. And it's, brilliant. I mean, even outside of acting, like, we just never stopped laughing. It's so fun.
I get that. That's what came across in the podcast, you know, that you had such a lot of fun. So, if for the audience, if you haven't, if you're just tuning in now, make sure you listen to episodes 1 through 4 before you get to this one, you know, before you listen to the whole thing. Okay, making new friends, but not forgetting the old. Love this topic because you're suddenly very popular when you've got the badge actor. And that's quite a common thing. Have you got thousands and thousands of friends, or are you very selective?
You know, it's funny. I used to. I feel like before I started splitting my time, I split my time wherever I'm filming, but I split my time between Texas and LA.
Right.
And I used to have just a lot of acquaintance friends that I would spend so much time trying to be just better friends with. Yeah. Thinking, okay, these are the people. These are going to be my people. And it wasn't until I left LA full time to get healthy with Lyme disease and start treatments that a lot of people tapered off. Right. And I realized, and part of that was also I had to take that resentment I was feeling of feeling used, and forgive those people and walk, you know, forward without them. But it also made my circle smaller and made me realize who the people I really needed to invest my time with and my energy and move forward with. And they're incredible, and they're all over, actually, which is super fun. I mean, you're a friend now, which is so fun. You're on the other side of the pond.
I know. And it's so nice to have a sort of, like you said, you've got a close sort of circle of friends. It's better to have that close circle than 1,000 people who don't really care. So
and they keep you grounded. They keep you grounded. They're with me through the worst of my life so far, and they've been with me through the best. And they've also supported me even financially. In times when they believed in my dream when I couldn't.
Amazing. Okay, well, what about the story of a friendship that developed through work? You mentioned, I mean, you absolutely love the makeup artist on set.
He is wonderful.
So, I mean, do you go out? Do you mix with the makeup artist? Is she someone is that your go-to person if you're going out?
Gosh, you mean when I was on set?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, it was so much fun. Like, honestly, we all were either all on location together or we were off, but on location. It was so, but yes, I got the opportunity to spend a lot of time with Chris, and she's so much fun.
Yeah.
And so and I also felt there's something about Chris. She wasn't just the makeup artist and the hair. She took care of everybody.
Yeah.
So I always felt, I felt like she was taking care of me the whole time. It was so great. I was like, okay, I'll just stay here.
Well, let's move on to coping with change and dreaming big. You have got enormous, plans for the future. Talking to you, you're ambitious, you're driven, you're motivated. But how do you cope with change? I mean, is it difficult coping with change? We're in so many where your industry has so many changes. I mean, it's not an easy industry to be in. How have you coped with change over the last few years? I mean, not just health-wise, but in general. Is it difficult for an actor to stay in the loop? Is it something that you have to become good at, almost a skill to cope with change?
I really love spontaneity. So change is usually really fun with me, or fun for me, other than being sick. Like when I don't feel well, it's not fun.
No, no.
But I actually really enjoy change, which I think helps with my career
Right.
choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is important to stay on top of things, like what is changing,
Right.
how do I do this, and then it's okay to grieve the change,
Yeah.
even if it's a good change. Lots of times we need to give ourselves space to grieve and mourn what was,
Yeah.
so that we can free our minds up to focus on what's ahead and what's in front of us.
Well, let's talk about those dreams. I mean, what are your dreams? I mean, have you got any ambitions for this year? It's 2025. Have you got a list of things? Have you got a list of things you shouldn't be doing and a list of dreams that you're
Yeah.
chasing?
I'm trying to really, I always pick a word every year. And
Right.
the word this year is believe.
Right.
And I'm still dwelling on that. I think value needs to stay there too, just so that I remind myself past what other people think of me. But um, I think my dreams this year, especially right now, is to just get healthy.
Right.
You never know when you're going to get hit by something and be
Sure.
struggling through something. So my my biggest goal and dream, because when you have your health, you have everything, is to get healthy.
Exactly.
And
Been there. I've been there,
yeah,
as you know.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And it can be really discouraging, especially when your mind is so ready and sharp and like, let's go.
yeah.
But your body's like, oh, we're not ready.
So, I mean, you talked about mindset and,
Hmm.
meditation and that sort of thing. Does that help you a great deal? Is it, or you've just become accustomed to doing it? You just go through the motions just to reset your system, or is it something that helps you to be grounded and plan and achieve?
I think it definitely helps just all around.
Right.
Emotionally, I didn't, it's when I say get healthy, I think that, like said earlier, physical and emotional, mental, all of that health goes together
Right.
to
Right.
be able to just sometimes even just get through the day. And I'm not going to let it stop me as I pursue acting, but I am going to do my very best to not feel the shame to have to
Yeah.
say no to things when I need to say
Absolutely.
no.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
also, like, I do think that, and I want to encourage people to pursue their dreams, even if they don't feel well.
Yeah.
It might look different, so adapting to what that might look like, but that your life isn't over.
Yeah.
And part of pursuing my dream as an actress with Lyme disease, I want to show people that it is possible. It is possible to do what you love to do, even though some of the back, like behind the scenes, is a lot of tears,
Yeah.
a lot of
I
pain,
bet. I
a
bet.
lot of
Yeah.
just the unknown. But
Yeah.
I'm so
Well,
grateful for.
I want you, I want you back on the show, hopefully, very shortly, to talk about Lyme disease and to talk about how that has affected you, how you overcome it on a day-to-day basis. And you
It's
mentioned,
not fun.
yeah, it's not fun, I bet. But yeah, so for the audience, please tune in, subscribe to the channel, and you'll be hearing from Ashley very, very soon for the next series of Chasing the Limelight. Ashley, thank you so, so much for joining me today. And
Thank you.
yeah, and I hope to speak to you very, very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's go. Let's do another series.
Thank you for the audience who tuned in. That's unfortunately all the time we have for today. Until next time, bye for now.
Bye.